Free Period is a podcast of First Baptist Watauga Student Ministry. For more information about First Baptist Watauga, you can check us out at fbcwatauga.org. Hello and welcome to Free Period, the weekly break you want to take. I'm your host, Kevin Skinner, the Associate Pastor and Student Pastor here at First Baptist Watauga.
And I'm Nathan McKendry, the Young Adult Minister and Assistant Student Minister, also here at First Baptist Watauga. And today we're going to be answering the question, is mayonnaise an instrument? But before we get to that, I'm going to give Kevin another word or phrase the students today are supposedly saying and see if you can get it. Now, 2 weeks ago, I got you. And last week, I didn't.
Correct.
I'm hoping that this one, because I had to look up the definition, though I've heard it, I did not know what it meant.
Okay.
Hopefully you don't either.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
The word is yeet.
I have heard this one multiple times.
Oh, rats. Dang it.
But
Cut.
this one is a very puzzling one to me.
All right. There's hope.
Because I have never, when I have asked students what it means, I have never gotten a clear definition. But I know that, like, when they throw something, they'll shout yeet. So it's like just kind of an exclamation in that context. And then, I mean, I think if they're excited about something, they may shout yeet. I mean, I feel like that word is used in multiple ways. I'm going to say that it's just an exclamation. Yeet! And probably in a positive context, a positive exclamation.
Those are the two exact words that I was going to use to describe it. Positive exclamation mark.
Yes.
So unfortunately, yes, you nailed that. That is exactly what it is. You even said it for us. I mean, and this is a word that I've heard, like, working D-Nows before. All the middle schoolers just constantly saying it.
Right. And I will say I have not ever used that word, and I don't think I can ever bring myself to use that word because, well, one, I just don't fully get it.
Yeah, I didn't want to use it before I knew what it meant. Now that it's just a positive exclamation mark, I still probably won't use it. I'm more of a woohoo kind of a guy than I am a yeet.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
Oh well. So there it is. He knows your word, and
I've done really, really well with all of these. Other than the one sus. Man, that's still, I can't believe I didn't get that.
Nailed it. Let's get to it. Let's get to our real question, and another question that was put in the box from a student.
Yes, it was.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I suppose. The question is mayonnaise an instrument?
That is a very interesting and odd question, but like you said, a student did give that question to us, so we're going to answer it. Students, we are answering your questions when you put them in the box. But before we answer that question, let me ask you, Nathan, since we're talking about instruments, do you or have you played any instruments?
Ooh. Okay, so I know I'm a minister, but I do not play the guitar. I know that's a popular thing.
I don't know if you can continue here.
I know.
I can't believe we didn't ask you that earlier on.
Usually it's in the interview. Do you play a guitar? And does your wife play the piano? I don't even have a wife, so I was doubly in trouble. I still got the job. No, I have played, and I do not play anymore, but in high school and middle school, I played the alto saxophone. In fact, I was in marching band in high school from freshman year through my junior year. It wasn't until my senior year when I stopped playing, and I have not played since.
Oh, wow. Now, do you still have your saxophone, though?
I do, yep. It's in a nice, pretty-ish looking case and sitting in the back of my closet collecting dust.
Do you think that if you pulled it out of your closet, dusted it off, do you think you would remember and be able to just pick it up and start playing it again?
I think it would. Some notes, I can tell you right now what they are. I remember them. However, it would take probably a couple days to and this is saying I have not tried. I mean, it's been truly since high school since I've touched it, but it would probably take a few minutes to get it going again, I guess, to be able to not just play notes but put them together and be, oh yes, this is a scale, and I think all that would come back to me pretty easily in a few days maybe. But I'd have to convince myself to go buy reeds, because you have to have reeds to play a saxophone, and reeds were expensive, and part of what factored into me not wanting to play it anymore.
And at this point, just not worth it.
Right. I mean, if I could buy, they've got these fancy new plastic reeds these days, and so if I could get one of those, then I'd be even willing to. I'd be willing to kill some free time on that, especially since Kirsten, plays the saxophone.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. A match made in heaven.
That's right. So what about you? Do you play the saxophone?
I do not play the saxophone. And if we're just talking about if I play an instrument in general, I would say the answer to that question is yes and no. So
pick an answer. Don't be a pansy.
So, as you were joking about a minister not playing the guitar, when I was in college and doing my first internship in a youth ministry, I thought, I should probably learn how to play the guitar.
There it is.
Since I am going into ministry.
Funny how that works. There are certain unsaid requirements to be a minister.
Yep. And so one of our students in the student ministry was selling her guitar. She was buying a newer, nicer one, and so she had put up a sign in the youth area saying that she was selling her guitar. And so I purchased her guitar from her and began taking unofficial lessons. So basically I knew someone that played guitar, and I had him kind of teach me some chords. And so I learned some very basic chords, G, C, D, E minor. Those are the first chords that I learned, and basically started learning how to play a few songs. And I still remember how to play those few songs, but I'll be honest, I just never really took the time to devote to learning how to play the guitar to really become good at playing the guitar, to consider myself a guitar player, or to ever be willing to fill in for a worship leader in their absence. I would never even do that. I would not be like, oh, I can play, because I'm not at that caliber at all. There is something in me, kind of in the back of my mind, way back there, with somewhat of a desire to actually take real lessons and maybe become better at it. I just, the desire is not large enough for me to do anything about it. So I have a guitar in my office, and I can play the song that I learned, one of the songs that I learned when I was in college. I don't know that it will sound great, but I can play it, and that's about it.
That is just a resume builder for him. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, I don't even know that I could put that on a resume.
Probably shouldn't.
I definitely would not.
You actually, and you saying the thing about chords and knowing a little song, that reminded me, I've actually recently taken up trying to just occasionally when I have free time, learn how to play the ukulele.
Okay.
Because Kirsten has several ukuleles, and so
Gotcha.
And it's actually easier for me to pick up than the guitar.
Well, it's lighter.
It's much lighter, and the strings are closer.
To pick up.
Yeah, that's all I mean. Pick up, put down. Anyway. So let's move on, because that's not what you're listening for. You've been listening for Is Mayonnaise an Instrument? And we have gotten a little off topic, but if you're watching, you can see we have our mayonnaise here with us, and we're going to find out, is mayonnaise an instrument?
No.
And that's it for today.
Hope you enjoy. Just kidding.
Not really. We will answer your question.
Mayonnaise is a condiment, not an instrument. Let's get that clear.
It's made with cage-free eggs.
But no. Yeah, let's try this out. Let's find out. So at the basic level, we know, right? You could use the container that the mayonnaise is in.
But that's not
as an
mayonnaise.
Instrument. And this kind, it's got a little lid. You could even, potentially use that clicking noise in some way. Maybe we should ask Matthew. Be like, hey, Matthew, I play mayonnaise. Would you let me join the worship team?
Yeah. Our God is great. That's right here with the case.
I play the jar, the container. All right, well.
But what about the mayonnaise itself? Not just the case. Is the mayonnaise an instrument? Can we let's get mayonnaise.
And I half wonder if one or both of ours is going to make a sound, an instrumental sound, when we squirt the mayonnaise into our cups here. Now, if you're just listening to this on Apple Podcasts, you'll hear this potentially. We're doing this next to the microphone so you can hear it.
That's right.
So
but you can see it if you go look at our video.
All right,
so
you ready?
You go first.
All right.
Sad.
It kind of made an airy noise sucking back
followed
in,
by a
but
bloop.
It really did nothing squirting out. All right, you go.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Woo! It's like an explosion of noise.
I think that the noise that you're getting, though, would be...
Still the container.
Okay. Oh, wait. Keep going with that. If you could...
This instrument comes with an odor.
You get kind of a... If you could be really consistent with that, then you get kind of a beat.
This could replace the cajon on Wednesday nights.
Yes. Anybody out there want to play the mayonnaise instead of the cajon on Wednesday nights?
This is the way to do it.
But again, that's still the container. So what about the mayonnaise itself? We've got a little mayonnaise in our cups. How much do you have in your cup?
Just a little bit here.
We got
just a
all right, and your
I've got
jars
splatter patterns across my.
I've got a lot. I'm going to squirt more in here.
Ooh.
All right.
I think I'm out.
Well, yeah, your jar was pretty much empty, and mine has quite a bit more.
That's so sad.
Let's shake it around. I hear nothing.
This is not what I thought I'd be doing when you said, come be our young adult minister. Come shake mayonnaise in a cup with me on a video.
I'm going to go ahead and touch it. See if... Nope, it's not making really any noise with me. Yeah. Now, one thing that I did not account for, we didn't bring a napkin in here, so I just have dirty hands right now.
I did think about that before. I thought I'll let him do this. So I'm thinking, though the container is useful for all sorts of instrumental purposes, and even getting mayonnaise out, it adds to the effect, but I don't know that mayonnaise in and of itself is an instrument. I'm going to have to say no.
I definitely have to say no. I think, like you said, there could be an argument for using the mayonnaise container as somewhat of an instrument, but really, at that point, then it can be any container. So, no, mayonnaise is not an instrument. What were you thinking, person that asked, is mayonnaise an instrument?
At you. Oof.
But we loved the question.
Yeet. I'm using all the words.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode of Free Period. Join us again next week as we answer the question, what does Jesus think about us?
Bye!
I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast, and I'd love to meet you in person. If you're a student between 7th and 12th grade, you can join us on Wednesday nights for midweek at First Baptist Watauga. You can also join us on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. for growth groups and 10:50 a.m. for worship.